Hey, my name is Kobin. I'm a creator, a paper, a global educator.
Hi everyone, Toby here. And today I wanted to talk to you about mental health and COVID-19. So let me first off start by saying, it is okay to not be okay. Okay, let me rephrase that again.
It is okay to not be okay.
May is Mental Health Awareness Month, and if we all were in order to stay home for our own safety and for the safety of others, thank you so much essential workers and frontline workers for helping us and doing everything you can to save us. I would be traveling and performing all around the tri-state area with my anti-bullying and social emotional musical for kids called Vinnie Live, also known as Be True to You. Since I can't do that right now, in person, I can do that virtually, but since I can't be physically in schools right now connecting with kids, I thought I would bring a mental health story to you. Some people may be thinking or asking themselves, what made you, Ashley Tobias, aka Toby, what made you want to start an anti-bullying / social emotional musical for kids? Anti-bullying, the bullying part, I was bullied growing up because I had frizzy, out of control hair, a darker complexion skin than other people in my school, and I became a victim of bullying. On the social emotional front, I suffer from anxiety. And I don't know if most people know that. I'm sure if someone were to be like, oh, so, that girl Toby? Oh, she's like super bubbly and she's like always smiling, she's always happy. But that's not always the case. I'm sure nowadays from always being on social media, hopefully a lot of us have learned and have seen that on sites such as Instagram, as amazing as they are, sometimes you're only seeing the most fabulous parts of people instead of the real and nitty-gritty parts. The parts that people don't necessarily want others to see. So I'm here to tell you today that I suffer from anxiety, and I'm hoping me talking to you about it, whether you are in kindergarten, whether you are in 3rd or 4th or 5th grade, whether you're in middle school or high school, or you're one of my adult friends, I'm hoping that if you can relate to it, maybe sharing your story with someone else that you love can help them, especially through this time during this whole COVID-19 pandemic, which I'm sure a lot of people are feeling a lot of emotions, a lot of big emotions that maybe some people can't explain, and maybe some people need help understanding what it is. Okay. Today I actually received some questions from some viewers. Thank you so much for reaching out to me and having some of these heartfelt questions, and I am so excited to get to them. And today I have someone who is going to help me answer the questions, which is my best friend, Vinnie the Bee. So everyone give a round of applause for Vinnie the Bee. Vinnie says hi everyone. Hey Vinnie. So nice of you to be here with me right now. Be here right now. Okay. Yeah, Vinnie just said that he's super excited that people wrote questions to us that we did not like to answer them for you. We have some awesome viewers out there who wanted to ask us some questions about mental health, and Vinnie's gonna ask them to me, and then I am going to answer them. Okay, so Vinnie, would you mind getting the first question that our viewers wrote to us? Okay. Oh, thank you. Thank you, Vinnie. Okay, so our first question. You want to read the question? Okay, so Vinnie just said, the question is, how did you know that you had anxiety? Great question. Thank you so much for giving us this question, giving me this question. So how did I know that I had anxiety? How did I know? Okay, so here's the story. So I was out to dinner with my parents at this restaurant in New Jersey, and we were just eating and having a great time, and all of a sudden I started to feel like lightheaded and my heart started racing really fast. I know, it was really scary. Nothing really was happening at the moment. I was getting ready to graduate college. Yeah, it was a really big time in my life, and I guess I was nervous about what was to come and what I was gonna be doing with life, and I guess those were some things that I was avoiding thinking about subconsciously, without even knowing. I think it was just really brewing in my mind that I was going to be graduating college and what was I going to do with my career, and I'm a singer, and how am I going to, what kind of jobs am I going to get? Am I going to be on Broadway? Because that's what I wanted to do back then, and it was a lot that was going on. I think without even knowing it, it was just bubbling up inside me, and when we were out to dinner, it just kind of, that's when it happened. I started to feel lightheaded, and I told my parents that I needed to go to the bathroom. And I went to the bathroom, and I put some water on my face, and I started to feel really sweaty, and my heart was racing really fast. I know, it was really scary. And I went back to the dinner table, and I told my parents, I think something is wrong. I don't really feel that great. Is there any way that I can leave? And so we got the check, and my parents, concerned, we raced home. I felt like I was gonna pass out, but I wasn't passing out. And then we got into my driveway, and then I felt like I was literally just gonna fall to the ground. So they called the ambulance, and then the ambulance came, and then they're taking my temperature, my blood pressure, everything seemed to be fine. And then we get to the hospital, and I'm waiting to be admitted and to see a doctor. And then I'm in the emergency room, and I remember I started to text one of my friends back then who I knew had some kind of anxiety, and he had told me some symptoms that kind of sounded similar to mine. Yeah, so thankfully, when I was in the emergency room, I reached out to him, I was texting him, I was telling him what I was feeling, and he was like, that sounds exactly like anxiety. When the doctor saw me in the emergency room, he took my temperature again, he took my blood pressure again, and everything was normal. And he said, have you ever felt like this before? And I said, no, it was my first time. And then he said, why don't you just go home and take a bubble bath? I know. I'm like in the emergency room thinking something is really wrong with me. And then he told me to go home and take a bubble bath. And I was like, what? Lo and behold, it was anxiety that I had. And I was really scared at that point in time, because it did go away that night. I was able to calm myself down. It did go away, but my fear was, well, what happens if this happens again? What do I do? So I started reading up a lot of articles, and I kept talking to my friend, and talking to my friend really helped calm me down to know that I wasn't the only one that was experiencing something like this, and that everything was gonna be okay. So that was the first time that I discovered that I had anxiety. Vinnie just said thank you for sharing. I know, it's really scary admitting something about mental health to someone. So thank you to whoever asked me that question, and I hope I was able to answer your question. Okay, so Vinnie said we have another question from one of our viewers. All right, Vinnie, what's the next question? Oh, okay. So the next question. Oh, sorry, Vinnie's supposed to read it and then answer it. Okay. The question is anxiety an ongoing issue, and will anxiety ever go away? Is anxiety an ongoing issue? I can only speak from personal opinion, and in my opinion, it's yes and no. So anxiety did go away that night, right? The first night that I had it, but then it kind of brought on a few other moments of anxiety. Like what times that I had anxiety was really strange. It was like nighttime anxiety. So like I would go to bed, and then I would wake up, and then I would wake up in the middle of the night, like sweating and my heart racing, and those are pretty scary moments, because you go to sleep, you feel like everything's okay, and then in the middle of the night you just wake up and then you just feel horrible. Those moments did stop. My anxiety stopped for a few years. And I guess maybe it was a matter of learning how to control it, and the more I read and did research on it, I started to understand what to do in those moments. Over the years, I have had a few other episodes of anxiety, Yeah, but as I've gotten older, I've learned to understand anxiety and I've learned to be able to deal with it and cope with it in the moment. There are some really amazing techniques, which we'll see if anyone asks those questions, and we'll get to that later. And if not, then I'll just tell you. Yeah, so there are a few techniques that you can do when you do feel anxious. So to say, is it an ongoing issue? Yes and no, but there are ways for you to cope with it and deal with it in a really healthy way. Okay, so Vinnie just sent me another question from our viewer, and I'm super excited to answer that for you. Okay, so Vinnie, can you get the question? Oh, you need to. You need to. Which one do you want me to read? This one? This one? Want me to read this one? Okay. So sorry. Okay, so forgot. Vinnie is supposed to read it, and then I answer it. Has COVID-19 brought out anxiety in you? Has COVID-19 brought out anxiety in me? Not exactly, because, because I've been working really, really hard at making sure that I'm keeping my mind healthy and I'm keeping my mind stimulated, and I've been reading and I've been exercising a lot. That really helps me to keep me in a nice positive mind frame. But you know what, I do feel like I have a lot of anxiety that I don't even know about. Yeah, because sometimes you can feel certain things deep down that you don't even know yet that you're feeling, which is why it is super important to talk to someone and to check on other people, to make sure how other people are feeling, and to check in with yourself and make sure and see how you are feeling, not just one day or 2 days out of the week, but make it like a daily routine. Every morning you wake up, take a nice big breath, and you think, and then you think, how am I feeling right now? And then maybe later throughout the day you check back in with yourself and you say, how am I still feeling? Am I still feeling happy? Do I feel frustrated right now? Why do I feel frustrated? Why do I feel angry? How can I fix that? What can I do to relax myself right now in this moment? Okay, so Vinnie just said that sometimes his first response when he's not feeling so happy and when he's feeling a little anxious is to isolate. Isolating meaning being by yourself. Me? Yeah, sometimes I really like being by myself too, but you know what? Especially right now when we're all going through this together, it is really important to make sure that we are not alone and to take that time, like I said, to talk to other people, to reach out and to connect with someone else. Okay, so we have another question from our viewers. So many questions. All right, Vinnie, what's the next question here? Oh, I think the question is a little close. Yes, it did. Okay, it did. Okay, so Vinnie, can you read the questions? Okay, okay, so this next question is, are you staying connected with your family? Yes, I am staying connected with my family. I talk to my parents like every single day. They live in a different state than I do, and I talk to them all the time, and I check in with them, and I make sure how they're feeling. We talk about movies, and I give them some movie suggestions, what to watch on Netflix, and, on Amazon, and all those wonderful streaming sites. And I check in with them, and I check in with my friends, and I've actually reconnected. I've reconnected with a few friends recently. Hey Ari, hey Jenny, hey ho. So I've reconnected with a few friends, have some Zoom hangs. I'm sure you guys are super familiar right now with Zoom. Zooming. I make sure to connect at least with some of my friends. If I don't talk to them, like if I don't have long talks and long hangs with them, I make sure to at least text them and reach out to them at least once a week just to see how they're feeling, to see if they need anything, and then vice versa, to check up on me too. It's really easy to stay connected these times with your family. We have Zoom, we have FaceTime, we have WhatsApp, and I think there's also that movie sharing thing on Netflix, and then there's also called House Party, and you can play games and stuff. Yeah, you can play games kind of like Zoom, but only they have games. So yes, I am staying connected with my family, and I hope you're staying connected with your family too. That's our last question? Wait, we have one more question. So excited. All right, Vinnie, can you get the question for us? Thank you very much. Do you want to read it? Okay, you want to read it together this time. What is your advice to someone who is experiencing anxiety for the first time? Wow, that's a really great question. So if you are experiencing anxiety for the first time, I want you to know, one, that you are not alone, that there are thousands, if not millions of people that also experience anxiety too. Two, it is okay. Please remember, it is okay to feel like you are not okay. Three, there is strength in weakness, and in weakness you will find your strength. Other advice that I have for kids, if you are ever experiencing like your heart is racing, your heart is racing out of your chest and you don't know what to do, just stop everything you're doing and take some nice deep breaths. So let's try that again. Let's just take 3 nice big breaths, okay? Deep breath in and exhale it all out. Take another deep breath in. And exhale it all out. Great job. So one more. I always like to do things in 3s. Okay, ready? So take another last deep breath in. And exhale out. Yes, breathing is so important. It really reconnects you with your mind and your body, and it really helps bring you back into the moment, into the now. If you are old enough to run, I suggest running or just exercising anywhere. If you wanna do some jumping jacks in place, yeah, you wanna do a few jumping jacks. If you wanna go for a run, anything that's gonna get your heart beating, but anything that's gonna take your mind away from feeling what you're currently feeling with the anxiety and with awareness. Ooh, another great advice is to do a checklist with yourself. So if you're starting to feel anxious, if you're starting to feel worried, is to make a checklist. So you're gonna go, 1, okay, so my heart is racing. Okay, that's supposed to happen. That's what happens when you have anxiety. Okay, 2, I'm starting to sweat. Oh, okay, that's another thing that happens when you have anxiety. Okay, and 3, you're starting to feel a little dizzy. Okay, dizzy, you're starting to feel dizzy. Okay, that's another thing that comes with anxiety sometimes. Sometimes you start to feel a little dizzy. Making a checklist really helps you because you know that these things are normal. And you know that this is what happens when you worry and when you overstress, right? And we get anxious. So the fact that you're making a checklist, you're like, okay, all the things that I'm supposed to feel right now with anxiety are happening to me, and that's all normal. So now let's work on accepting it, accepting the fact that I do feel this way, and working on something to exhale what you are feeling out of your body positively. So like I said, so by working out, by drinking some water, by taking nice deep breaths. If 3 deep breaths aren't enough for you, then maybe you should take a few more. Maybe just practice your breathing and listening to your heartbeat slow down for maybe about like a minute. That would really help you too. And one last thing, it's really important for you to know that you can talk to someone. Yeah, like I have Vinnie, who's my best friend, and I can tell him when I'm feeling down. And I want you to know too that you can talk to your parents, you can talk to your grandparents, you can talk to a friend, you can talk to me and Vinnie, and we will always be here for you, and we'll just listen. You know, sometimes we don't need to just always give advice. Sometimes we just need to listen and validate how you are feeling, let you know that it is okay to feel like that, and that will pass. And last thing, I have one more last thing advice for you, is to find the positives during COVID-19. Yes, we're all home right now and we're all stuck at home and we can't go and hang out with our friends at the park. We can't go get coffee at Dunkin' Donuts or at our favorite coffee barista place around the corner. There's a lot of other positives that are happening with COVID-19, like hanging out with your family. Yeah, yes, exactly. Maybe your family hasn't sat down to have dinner together in a really long time. Maybe your mom is always working, or maybe your dad is always working. Whatever adult you have in your house, maybe they're just always really busy. And now we all have the opportunity to stay home with each other and to catch up and to be a family. And that's a beautiful, beautiful thing. I hope you can see the end of the rainbow with a huge pot of gold. We're all going to come out of this together. And when we do, we're going to be a lot stronger, we're going to be a lot happier, and we're going to be more compassionate towards others. Thank you so much for all these questions for us. It doesn't have to be about anxiety or mental health. Today we want to cover that because, like I said, it is Mental Health Awareness Month, and it's May. If you have any other questions for us, like what's your favorite color, blue, or what's your favorite food, pasta, or if you have any other fun questions for us, please hit us up. And don't forget, you can always hit us up and DM us at our Instagram page, which is at BTTY the bee. So that is at BTTY the bee. We hope we were able to bring you some light and positivity during this time. And remember, it is okay to not be okay, and you are not alone.